And
we're 3 minutes early.
And
you know, if you're on time, you're 5 minutes late, Willis.
Oh, really? Is that the saying?
my dad always said, if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late.
Yeah.
And if you're late, then don't even bother.
Just go to hell.
Yeah. We're here. We're early, which means we're on time for probably one of the first times in our 300 plus episodes.
Look,
I can't remember how many times we went live before the time.
All I know is that every time Elena and I are sitting here, just like ready to go. Willis is on the verticals and horizontals, ready to go.
Are you blaming Willis?
No, I was blaming you.
Me? Oh, well, that's true. I usually have to go to the bathroom
You're
right
the problem.
before. Yeah,
you're the problem. It's you.
So, hello, look at this. Not even on time. We're early. Look at that. Yeah, because we got questions here on the Full Nerd. If you don't know, this is the first time joining, welcome.
This is how eager we are to answer your questions.
Yeah. Oh my God, I am so excited to answer questions. We've got a lot of questions. We're gonna have so much fun answering these questions. If you got new questions, get them in too. The Full Nerd.
How can they do that?
Just hit your keyboard.
Oh, okay.
Just like go like this, and then hit enter, and then people are gonna see what I just wrote.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, like that.
That's my password.
Yeah.
See, Liquid Art just said, Adam just get distracted by floor food. So,
exactly.
That's why we're late all the time.
I got it.
I think Willis is a little loud.
Oh,
does Willis sound loud to you?
I'm usually
no, he's a little louder than normal, but
he's got energy.
Yeah, he's excited. He's pumped
up. I'm back from a long weekend.
I got off the wrong floor on the elevator today when I was coming up here.
Here?
I don't have an elevator at my house. It's a single family home.
Where did it take you? Was it a dark hallway?
So
I
got in the elevator and it stopped at every floor, and then
it's like
somebody Christmas treed it. Yeah. And then when the door opened, it was covered because there was a guy on 5 hanging wallpaper on the elevator lobby, and I was like, "Hey, can I get out?" And I didn't. I just assumed it stopped at my button, and it hadn't stopped. The button wasn't pressed for 5.
And he's like, "No, you can't."
And he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and he moved the wallpaper out of the way. And then I walked out, and I was like, they're repainting the lobby. This is nice. And I walked around, and there was like, wow, there's like protective stuff all over the floor. This is nice. And then I turned the corner. I was like, wow, they redid the living room studio at the end of the hall. It says kitchen on it, and there's a bunch of PCs set up against the wall. And that's weird. It's not Luis in there doing that.
Yeah.
And then I turned right, and there was a door with a badger thing there, a badge reader.
Beep.
And I was like, wait, I guess I have to use my badge on this door now. And I put my badge up against it. It made the bad sound.
You went all that way.
And then I was
oh
crap, I'm on the wrong floor, I bet.
Wow.
So then I had to turn back and go back, and I had to wait a really long time with the wallpaper guy. And also, I think only one elevator, maybe 2 elevators were working, and they stopped on every single floor. It was bad.
That sounds like fun.
It wasn't.
I thought you were going to say you got off and you were in one of those back rooms.
Oh,
like the
secret
that web
rooms?
series, the back room.
Yeah. Is that that's like the it's like the control thing, right? Like the back rooms are part of the SCCS.
Oh no,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, kind of. But I don't know if it originated from creepypasta, but it feels like a creepypasta kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
SCP. Thank you, Liquid
SCP.
Art.
Yeah. There we go. Anyway, let's get to questions. The pre-show. Yeah.
I gave you an anecdote. What more do you want?
Yeah, exactly. How are the hamsters over there, Wills?
Hamsters is running good. We already got a first question. First question from 10 gigahertz net burst asking, hey, should we ask questions here or in Discord? In the chat or in Discord?
Either. Discord's probably easier. But
it's more likely to get read in Discord if the chat is hopping.
Yeah, especially if maybe we don't get to it and we do it another week. We're not going to get to all the questions, I warn you. But yeah, all right, cool. Let's do it. We're ready? Are we ready?
Right, yeah.
Are we ready? Elena, you ready?
Now we're late. It's 11:02.
Dang it. Don't even show up. Just turn it off.
Kick it off, Adam.
We good?
Yep.
Here we go. Nailed it. In this episode of The Full Nerd, I forgot what I was going to say.
10 out of 10. No notes.
Done. Easy.
Dun, 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 dun.
I should have just hit the transition right there. In this Full Nerd, yeah.
Okay. In this episode of The Full Nerd, we answer your burning questions. think I had something else in my head, but I forgot it.
I thought you were going to answer my burning questions.
9.5 out of 10.
And welcome everybody to episode 336 of the Full Nerd, the weekly podcast about PC building news and other PC hardware stuff. I am your fill-in host, Adam Patrick Murray, but I am not alone. I am with some friends. On the line, the solo person on the line today is Elena Yee. Hello, Elena.
It's me.
You're taking up the whole TV. You don't have
Yeah.
to share it with Brad
No.
this time. Thank goodness. He's
No,
unfortunately a
not
little
thank
under the
goodness.
weather, so
Yeah.
Elena,
I
you
can't hide in the corner eating my snacks.
also you have yet to buy a beard, one of those fake
I
beards.
know.
Yeah, you really need
I
to get on
know.
that.
It's on the list. I keep
It's
forgetting.
on the list. Maybe I'll ship you one.
I have an Etsy guy. I'll send you an Etsy link after the show if you remind me.
Speaking of Etsy guys, we got Will Smith right
That's
here
me,
at the table.
Will Etsy Guy Smith.
Do you sell stuff on Etsy?
No,
Have you ever sold anything on Etsy?
yeah.
See, you're the Etsy guy then.
I am the Etsy guy.
Because I've never have.
Look, Etsy used to be about people making things in small quantities and then selling them to people for like a fair fee. And now it's mostly
Hipsters.
people buying stuff from China and just drop shipping it directly from China to
Oh, really?
Etsy buyers. Yeah,
Oh, it's like
basically
a
Amazon
resell,
Marketplace
yeah.
or eBay.
Oh, I did not know
Yeah,
that.
no, it's Etsy. Etsy used to be cool, man. It used to be all hipsters. You could buy a corncob pipe on Etsy. Actually, you probably couldn't because it was a tobacco thing. But you could buy, I don't know, a belt that was made by hand by some belt craftsman.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
Speaking of belts, does Willis Lai have a belt on right now
Do I?
while he's controlling the verticals and
No, I
horizontals?
do have a nice scarf from Uniqlo, though. So, yeah.
Ooh.
How's my audio right now, actually?
You look
Ooh.
cozy.
Yeah, very cozy. It's really cold right
Everybody
now in San
looks.
Francisco.
Yeah, I'm cold. It's cold in here. I might have to put my jacket
Yeah,
on.
it's cold outside too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. We're here to answer some questions, but before we do that, I need to do something.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
I need to.
Are you going to Kermit it
Oh,
again?
glasses came off.
Yeah, I need to jack into the matrix
Wait, you
because
got-
I can't read these questions
Audio
from a
listeners.
distance.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
There is something being removed from a case.
yeah. I'm bringing out these new.
Those are really thick lenses.
Asus sent over the Asus Air Vision.
Okay.
Let me get my cable.
Oh,
I'm going to plug it in to the end of the glasses.
Oh, I know what you're going to be watching if
Yeah.
you plug this into your laptop on the airplane.
So I'm gonna.
Adam's plugging into the Matrix right
Oh no!
now.
And now all the.
Oh, you twisted the. Don't yank it.
It's fine.
you didn't
It's okay.
untangle pre-show.
Yeah, I didn't untangle pre-show.
He's untangling
Look at
his
that. Yeah,
cables. They're all twisted.
untangling cables
It's
for
like,
audio
it's
listeners.
like a pigtail
Now
over
I'm
here.
plugging into my laptop, and look at this.
Those lenses are very thick.
Well, now I've got like a.
You're going to have to take your headphones off.
Oh, now I can hear it. Oh no! How do
Oh,
I
did you leave your
disable the
audio on?
No. But when I plugged it in, it started.
I
playing
heard
the
it.
Audio.
Yeah, I heard it. You
There
did
we
it
go.
this week, not me.
Okay, so look at this. Oh yeah, and I got to take off the little. All right, so now I can read your questions.
Oh, they're augmented reality.
yeah. Now I have like a.
What are you seeing?
What do they always say? I
It's
see
an
my
80,
screen.
80 inch
Overlay?
screen,
Yeah.
120 feet in front of you.
Yeah, I don't know how many inches, but it's like 100 inches. Yeah, now I can read your questions.
So is it just the chat box that you're seeing right now?
well, no, I'm
What
just
up?
seeing my screen,
Your
so
screen,
I
yeah.
guess I can move
Can
over
I see it?
to
Look
the.
at me.
what?
Oh no, I can't see anything.
Oh, why did the? Oh, it stopped.
Oh.
It stopped being live. Okay, there we go.
This should have been the pre-show.
Oh, now
Yeah.
I'm watching myself wearing these.
I got stuck on the wrong floor story was crap compared
Yeah.
to this.
So I'm going to be able to read your chat and just look at the camera now, and
Are
you're not
you?
even going to notice.
Yeah.
I can kind of see it. I can see Ziv says.
This is a great
Something.
bit. This is amazing.
Anyway,
Wow.
yeah, Asus sent. So
Wow.
I've actually used a number of these. What do you call these?
Screen glasses.
Yeah, like
AR glasses?
AR.
They're not AR
but
glasses.
they're not
'cause
AR.
AR glasses map things on the world around you.
But
yeah.
This is, what?
This
No.
well,
but
but
the screen moves with your head, right?
yes, yeah. There's no. I mean, some of them can be like sensing where like it's locks
Yeah.
in place, and then when you move your head, it stays there. But yeah, not these ones.
But it's not like an AVP or like a Quest with the pass-through mode or one of those things.
No. I can see the world. I can see your face. Oh, and I just hit the screen with my hand.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I did there.
you backed out.
Yeah. Anyway, I've used a number of these. These are fun. Mixed reality. There we go.
Mixed reality?
Mixed reality is something else, though. Mixed reality is Microsoft's rebrand of VR. That's all mixed reality is.
Does any?
No, I think that was their rebrand of AR.
No. Mixed reality is their line of VR headsets that they killed.
It
was Windows-
HoloLens was augmented.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
HoloLens
so-
was not mixed reality though. HoloLens is just HoloLens.
Mixed reality was a knockoff Vive competitors.
Yeah, mixed reality is literally Microsoft doing for VR what they did for the PC space with HP, Dell, Lenovo, and Samsung, and like 2 other vendors. I think I can't remember.
Okay.
Acer maybe.
Well, so look at this. Yeah, I can see the chat. So look, I can do this. It says Ziv says HoloLens is AR.
So if I close this laptop, what are you going to see? Nothing. It goes away.
It might switch over. It might detect that I'm in. Nope, it just
No, it just turned off.
okay.
Adam
Now I
can-
can't see anything.
Adam can
yeah.
exit
See?
the VR or the AR world. And
Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah,
I'll,
exit
he's stuck in the Matrix.
I'll bring it back up. But yeah, look at this. I am so ready for Q's and A's that I'm just gonna be part of the conversation like this. But I can continue to read the questions.
You look like a Q.
Do you
and
like
an
cool?
A. Yeah, you look cool.
I've used a number of these, and this is actually no joke. This
So
is one of the
cool.
better ones in terms of do people
Hey,
use these?
Will,
Yeah, hi.
I can see you, Elena.
harsh.
Hi. But I can also see the
Look, I'm
chat.
just being positive about Adam's, very cool.
I'm cool.
New look.
I'm cool, guys. All right.
You should wear those to lunch. Let me know how that goes.
Yeah.
I'm going to go someplace else. I don't know where. Where are you going?
we don't know that person.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll meet you
Great
there.
caller.
In the how many Qs do I see? I see all the Qs. See, Tim said that, and I didn't even have to look down at my
Can
screen.
you put multiple cues up on your screen at once? Can you get like Discord and the other cues on at once?
I mean, I can just tab over to Discord.
No, I want you to have all the. I just want you to have like Matrix Neo seeing the numbers falling down. I just want to see the
Okay.
cues falling by your face.
Oh, here we go. So this is what I did. I just
Troycifer has a question. Did Adam go blind?
They do kind of have that look.
There's a vibe.
I thought I looked cool.
You do look cool.
Can you zoom? Oh, you can zoom in on Discord too. Okay, there we
that's
go.
nice.
Oh, look at that. See, yeah. So now you can see my screen. This is what I see. So now I've got all the questions. Yeah.
I just anytime I see people wearing those on the plane occasionally.
I have used it on planes,
And
especially with a handheld. So these are great with handhelds.
Okay, with the handheld, I can kind of see it.
Yeah.
If they're just using a laptop, I assume they're doing something that they don't want other people to see on the airplane.
Naughty.
Yes.
Well, you don't know what's on my screen here, so yeah.
I do not assume the best when I see people wearing those glasses on the plane.
I see all the questions.
Yeah, but aren't the speakers on the glasses? Where are the speakers actually?
I think they're on these ones. They're
bone
probably
conduction,
bottom.
aren't they?
No, they're bottom firing. I think they're somewhere around here. But I have them turned off because I had them turned off. Oh,
Yeah, he muted the stuff so we don't know what he's
These are
doing.
touch sensitive. Oh, look at this. When I
nice.
do this, it changes the brightness.
Oh, that's cool.
I did. Yeah, I just barely got these in. I have no idea. Yeah, I'm gonna use them
Yeah.
for handhelds anyway.
I love Zapirate in chat saying, "Can you put some googly eyes on the glasses?"
Oh my God, do we
The
have
look.
googly eyes?
That I'm 100% here for.
Oh my God, we should get googly eyes. Do we have any?
I'll ask Louise.
Yeah, Luis.
Yeah.
If Luis is watching, please grab the googly eyes. That'd be hilarious.
Welcome.
Anyway, I'm jacked in. This is an all Q and A
Yeah.
episode. We're gonna go so fast. This is like Blitz lightning round for Q's and A's, and I am so ready. I don't even have to look at my laptop. I am just so ready to
Yeah,
get
you're just
jacked
making
in.
eye contact
Alrighty.
left and right here, kind of.
Right?
Except for I can't see your eyes at all.
Yeah. Well,
At least you don't have the
Not easy at all.
At least you don't have the nightmare Apple Vision Pro eyes. Those things are the
oh,
worst.
Yeah, those are the worst. So yeah, if I want to completely black out the world, I can put these on.
Well, that makes it better.
Well, now I can't. I can see out of the corner of my eye, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got Q's. If you got questions right now and you're watching us live, just get in the chat and at the Full Nerd Podcast. It's probably the easiest way to do
I'll
it.
open up the Discord too.
But in Discord, we have a nice. There's a link in the description. There's a nice section over there for Full Nerd questions that has been filled to the brim full of questions for a while that we have not had time to get to. So that's what we're doing today. We're doing the backlog of questions. There is news we could have covered, but most of the news is covered in these questions anyway. So yeah, why not?
Okay.
Elena, do you like answering questions?
Depends on the question.
It does depend on the question. Well, what if the question was from Zaw Pirate over on Discord? Will there be any 50 series cards with regular PCIe 8-pin power connectors?
Maybe AIB cards, but I don't know. I don't know if NVIDIA requires that. Do you?
I bet if there's a 5060 or below, yes.
Maybe.
5070 and above, I bet is all 12 volt 2x6.
What's the power requirement on the 5070 and 5070 Ti?
I can look that
Can you
up
look this
right
up on your
now
fancy glasses?
on my glasses. Yeah, so it looks like I'm tabbing. It doesn't look like I'm actually doing anything on the laptop. Is this
No,
weird
you
too?
just look like you're staring
Yeah.
off into space.
Yeah. So 50.
Have you ever seen Stevie Wonder play the piano?
No blind jokes here.
I'm not. It's not a blind joke. I'm just saying
Jeez.
you're like looking off into the like not where you're not looking at
I
the sheet
wasn't
music in
gonna
front of
go-
you.
Yeah,
Hey,
right.
Stevie Wonder's
really
very
hoping we
talented.
wouldn't
Stevie
go
Wonder's-
there.
Stevie Wonder is like one of my all-time favorite artists. I love Stevie.
250 watts
250 watts
is 5070.
So it would need
supposedly.
two of the
8 pin.
of the 8
Yeah.
pins.
So I bet it's going to be one 12 volt high power or
I-
12 volt 2x6. Yeah.
I bet given all the heat on the 12 volt 2x6 right now,
They've already made it. Doesn't
I
matter.
bet that somebody makes a second wave card that is like
Well,
16.
But there was already heat
PCIe.
when the 4090 hit, and a lot of the 57 or
I think-
4070s even had 12 volt 2x6.
Look,
so.
not to talk about news, but I think the heat has escalated in the last week or so.
The heat is escalated.
I
Let me
mean-
find a question that talks about the heat. Here we go. From M Sneaky RP. Would the full nerd back my new business idea for providing insurance to all of the new 5090 owners? Here it is. You ready? $2 a day, only premium. Wait. $2 a day only premium. We provide same day delivery and hassle-free cable replacement. Okay, so far.
Okay, $2 a day. That's
$2 a
bargain.
day,
I just pay for one day to get a new
insurance.
cable.
Yeah, there you go. Also, Adam, would you personally back me on my burnt cable scented candles idea? Ooh,
That'd be a
Okay.
good investment.
yeah. So, well, okay, I'm gonna do the candle thing first because that's funny. I like the idea of like a candle maker. I always think of candle makers as just sitting there with like a bunch of like beakers and vials and just being like, ooh, this gives me a waft of peony.
They have a scent catalog. Do you know about the scent catalog?
Ooh, no, I don't know anything about
Yeah,
making
you
sense.
just go. There's places that just make sense, and you say, "Oh, I want sandalwood or like goat musk."
Well,
and
but you
boom.
can't go in there and say I want the smell of a burnt 5090 cable.
I bet that they have smell of burnt plastic though, which is what.
But it's not just plastic. Yeah,
I mean,
I bet
I
it
think-
doesn't. I bet it doesn't just smell like burnt plastic. I bet it smells like other stuff too.
look, if you really want to get a good bad smell, get a lithium battery fire. Those
Oh boy.
No.
those smell like you're gonna have some major health problems in like 15 years.
Anyway, yes, I'm totally down with scented candles. I like that idea. $2 a day insurance, is that a good deal, Elena, for somebody who bought a $2,500 card and is worried about it burning up?
I normally am in support of small businesses, but that's going to be a no for me, dog.
But I mean, look, I think that you do treat this like AAA, right? You just sign up for it when you're on the side of the road. You're like, hey man, I'm a AAA subscriber. Can you come help me out? And then you get your same day cable. You cancel it the next day. It's a $2 cable. That sounds like a great deal to me.
It's actually pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. Man, yeah. Look,
Well,
these,
because when you do the math, it's so $2 a day. So say $60 a month, and then that's like $700+ a year. Is that worth for the insurance to have a peace of mind?
I mean, I guess I could have just bought a second cable for like $25. I think my power supply actually came with two, so I'm probably like I already have a backup.
well, no, but what if it actually burns the connector on your card? Does it cover the card replacement?
Oh man, that's tough.
If you're using it for work and you're making,
Yeah.
$2 million a year,
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
what's
over here.
$700 a
I mean,
year?
Look, at the end of the day, what I should do is
We're taking
just-
this way too serious.
I should just take the 12 volt, the plastic connectors off and just solder the wire directly onto the board.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
the real solution
I
to this
dig it.
problem.
Yeah.
Because nothing could possibly go wrong with that.
No, not at all.
It's very hard for me to take you seriously when you're wearing those glasses, just to be clear.
I'm sorry, it's actually really distracting. Okay, I'm back in the real
Art-
world.
Liquid R would like to remind us that the terms of this agreement for the insurance were just that cable replacement, nothing to do with card.
Oh,
Right,
okay. If it's
Yeah.
just cable replacement, okay, yeah. I thought they were saying it also covered the card if the card were
No.
to.
No.
Oh, okay, well then, yeah, no.
That's why I said I
Yeah.
normally would support small businesses, but
Well, unless listen, if you
Dog.
what if it's a white glove service? or we're definitely taking this way too serious. We should move on. But what if it's a white glove service? What if they come over and they like not only they replace your cable, but they like help you clean the cable management, and then maybe they like give you a back massage while you're playing games and make sure it's working.
It's getting worse the further you go.
So it's like a full service kind of thing.
I had to get a guy in to replace my hot water heater a couple weeks ago.
Did he give you a back massage?
If he had given me a back massage, I would have called the police. I mean, he did have large, very strong looking hands, though. So
right?
I mean,
he's a working man.
Maybe it would have been good. I don't know. Maybe I missed out.
Oh my.
Anyway. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, we'll go with a different question then. All right. QH Freddy, friend of the show, QH Freddy says there are some leaks suggesting AMD might launch the 9070 XT at the same day as NVIDIA launches the 5070. If hypothetically they did this, how good or bad of a choice do you think it would be?
Well, I mean, the 9070 is 4 more than the 5070. So are they even in the same market?
That's a good point.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, Elena, is this a good thing or a bad thing?
I feel like this is a trick question because we cannot predict the future. We do not know what's going to happen when such worlds collide.
But if it did, would you like it or would you not?
I mean, if we're going to answer a joke question seriously,
but no, I mean, we can answer it seriously. I don't think it's a joke question.
I know.
Like,
I would say that honestly, anytime that consumers get a chance to evaluate two things close together, that's not a bad thing for them because they can make informed choices and they don't have to wait.
I like the idea of having 2 direct competitive cards releasing on the same day, presumably with the same review embargoes, so we can do one set of benchmarks and make one set of one video and just be like, hey man, here it is. Here's this one versus that one. Which bar is bigger? Here you go. But I don't think they would, like, if they release them on the same day, they're gonna hose us. Because the embargoes will be like 12 hours off or something really like, what's the worst possible gap in the embargoes? Like 6 hours?
I mean, either way, we'll get the cards in 3 days ahead of time.
Yeah.
And,
and it'll be like, hey, I hope you don't like sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. But also, I think the only way that works is if the 9070, if AMD knew the 9070 just blew the 5070 out of the water.
Or, I mean, like if NVIDIA launches on the same day as them, then they presumably are assuming that they're going to blow the 9070 out of the water. Like somebody's going to think somebody else is getting blown out of the water here.
I think NVIDIA already has a schedule. They probably wouldn't move the schedule for AMD to get out of the way of AMD. I think they would be like, nah, come at us.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I think everybody likes to win.
Yeah, but
NVIDIA is very much in the all I do is win frame of mind right now. Even though they've been kind of taking some L's on. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that. But
well, that's the thing, right? I think there's we've talked about this before. There's plenty of years of hey, the Radeon part is actually the better part for the price for performance kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But guess what? People still keep buying NVIDIA.
Yeah.
So I actually, I don't know. While I think it would be fun for the lulz, like I don't know. I can't imagine. The question is if they both accidentally come out on the same day, like somebody is whoever goes last is making the conscious choice to do that, right? That's where it ends up. So that means whoever goes last thinks, oh, we win this fight. Yeah.
And that means it's bad news for presumably whoever announced first. And since we don't know who's announcing first or who's announcing last, there's literally no way to answer this question. Well, other than it would be nice to only have to make one video.
Yeah. Well, but they did change. I do think we can at least look at that chart where they changed the naming. So there, at least that AMD provided chart, and this is public, states that oh my God. Okay, here we go.
You should put the glasses back on so you can see this better.
The 9070 series, which includes the XT and the XTX, as far as I know, sits around the 4070 Ti, 4070 Super area. So assuming that the 5070 Ti is faster, then it's probably going to be faster than that. And a 5070, yeah. So you're essentially already telegraphing that the 9070, block lines up with the 4070 Ti. If the 5070 is as fast as a 4070 Ti,
Wow.
then you're already going straight head to head. I don't think the only other way you could do, once again, is you came out and you're like, okay, you know what? Performance the same, but our price is half.
I don't think it's going to be half.
I know. I'm just saying, like, that's the only way to be like,
Here you go, guys.
You know,
this is the same performance. We're going to pay you $300 to take this card. We want to see if we can beat NVIDIA this generation.
yeah. I
don't know. They have DLSS and the other guys don't.
Yeah.
Even though it's a better card and $300.
Yeah. I don't think
I don't think we can answer this question.
I don't think
Elena has the right answer.
Also,
here.
I don't think it works out in anybody's favor. I don't think anybody wins from that.
No?
No.
I think we win from that. I
No.
think we're
Because we're the ones gonna have to do the extra work.
Well, I mean, you are.
Yeah.
And then I show up and talk for like 10 minutes.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's the real answer behind all of this.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. I'm neglecting the chat. If there's any questions in the chat, let me know.
A lot of people don't want back rubs for $2 in chat. Just FYI.
$2 a day.
$2 back rubs, not.
And then somebody comes and gives you a back rub.
No. I mean, look,
I'd kind of take that.
I'd pay for that service.
Yeah, actually, that's pretty good.
$60 a month. Get a
And
back
they
rub
change your
once a
cable.
week.
So what if it's
I
the
don't
other
want-
way?
I don't want touching my cable.
No.
I didn't sleep very much last night. It's probably worth getting that out.
I used to pay for
Wow.
I used to pay for the Massage Envy. You get like a monthly subscription. You go get a massage, like you get like X amount of massages for a month. I can't
The
remember.
thing back behind the bowling alley?
No,
Or?
it's Massage
Legitimate
Envy is
massage place.
it's a large
Well.
chain.
Yes. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was just asking.
See. Here's the thing. We're going back to a stupid question. Yeah. Once again, I'm so sorry.
Are you, though?
This is why
No,
we
I'm
don't
not,
answer
yeah.
the stupid questions first. This is why they have to be the last.
M Sneaky RP, you're going at it the wrong way. You're trying to sell somebody on a service for PC parts and then giving people a back massage as a bonus. What if you start with a back massage? What if every time I go to Massage Envy, when you leave, they give you a little goodie bag and it has a new 12-volt 2x6 cable in
Now
it?
that's a good perk.
See?
Yeah.
See? There you go. Most of the people would be like, what the hell is that? I don't.
There you go.
Yeah.
Adam cracked the business.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? You can have that one. There you go. Get into the massage
Freebie.
business that also replaces cables. Yeah. Shark Tank. There we go. Boom.
Davinia says this is Adam's medical benefits.
Yes.
Quote
Yeah.
benefits.
Yeah.
This was years ago.
This is what big corporate America insurance looks like these days.
Exactly. All right. Real questions.
Yeah.
Bori Zero asks, is upgrading your power supply for the 12-volt 2x6 a good idea or a fool's errand? How confident are you that this connector being a standard in 3+ years' time rather than being revised multiple times or completely redesigned? Great question.
I wouldn't. My confidence in this connector has decreased dramatically over the last week. Did we talk about it last week on the podcast?
We talked about it a little bit, yes, because
the
DeBauer
video
had a video.
Yes.
Since then, there's definitely been a lot more talk.
More smoke.
Yes.
A lot more talk from people who are honestly way more knowledgeable than I am. Eris over at Hardware Busters definitely had some interesting videos, kind of going over the cables and stuff like that.
Corsair came out with an official statement, and then there were some questions about that.
Yeah.
And like there's been a lot of talk about this in a way that implies the problem is much more to do. Like last time this happened with the 4 Series
Back in
2022, the general feeling was the connector was bad because people could get it connected and without it being plugged in all the way, and that caused partial connections, which increased voltage across certain wires and caused problems.
Yes.
So then they redesigned the connector so that you could tell that it was plugged in all the way, which was good change.
Yeah.
But now it seems like maybe NVIDIA has flown too close to the sun with the amount of power going over the cable and the fiddliness of the connectors and the small size of the physical metal connectors. It seems to be the consensus that I've gotten from all of this.
Well, yeah, and I think it boils down to headroom, right?
Yeah.
From what I gather from the smart people is that usually the cable has a really good headroom in it, so that you don't fly too close to the sun, like you said.
Yeah.
Here, the 5090 is literally flying
25 watts,
right close to the sun.
watts. Yeah.
And so if you're doing that, which is within spec and is fine, I have used plenty of cards like that 5090. I still continue to mess with it, and I have not had any issues. 4090, we never had any burn ups either.
And disconnecting it like crazy.
Yeah. We just need to go to that video. So yes, technically it works, but the overhead that's there is like, okay, you're right there. If there's any sort of bad wiring or like bad
loose bad join,
or the actual cable quality, like you just don't have that headroom like for oops.
It's also just another point of that is that it's not just that they're running close to the maximum capacity, but that it's not, I think the word, I guess in this case, we could just call it like load balancing well, right? So it's not just that, because the thing is that if you had more what you're calling headroom and it's not load balancing correctly, that's okay because you have that margin that you can eat into, but it's like a combo of factors, right? So it's like you're running too close to the full amount allowed. And then if it's not actually loading properly, like distributing the load properly, then that's when you run into this problem where it's like, oops, too much.
Yeah. Anyway, but here's the real question though, is that how many people are buying 5090s? Like Borey Zero, I don't know your situation. I don't know your scenario of what you have right now. But if you plan on buying a 5070 Ti, even a 5080, like I think that's different than if you're trying to buy a 5090, right? Even with 5090s, me personally, I would not have a problem with it. I know some people don't, but if you're buying a 5070, you're not getting anywhere near that headroom.
Well,
or like
you're not going to touch it, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I think the thing that Falcon, the other thing that Falcon says is important to note is that DeBauer has been using that same PSU for a long time, and that those cables are rated for 50 insertions, which is not. Like is a lot for a normal person, but not very many for somebody who tests stuff for a living.
Yeah.
The other thing is there's a lot of aftermarket cables that were made by aftermarket folks designed to run 4090s, and now those cables are going to be out of spec on these new cards on at least I guess 5080 and 5090, or maybe just the 5090.
Just
the 5090. So yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, that's why I feel like the question is a little too broad. Like, is upgrading your PSU for the 12 volt 2x6 a good idea or fool's errand? That's the first part of the question. I would say it depends on which GPU you're looking at. The second part of the question, how confident are you that the connector is going to be a standard in 3+ years time? Yes, it will continue to be around. I don't think NVIDIA at some point is going to be like, you know what, we're going back to the old PCIe 8-pin. Well, it's just not that's not going to happen.
To Elena's point, the problem isn't the cable; it's that the cards don't load balance properly, right?
There was some argument on that. Some people are arguing that.
But I mean, fundamentally, one of the places that there's a point of failure is if one of the load lines doesn't connect, then it just pushes all the power over the remaining ones, and you can get. I think somebody in chat said 23 amps on one of the 5090 wires
on two of his wires.
Yeah. which is that's
I don't know. There's a lot there. Yeah. So I don't know, but like I said again, I could see. I think what's going to happen is that if there's a 5090 Super or a whatever is the successor to the 5090, or maybe even other partner cards, is two 12 volt 2x6.
Look, I just think we should do XLRs for everything. Everything should be XLRs from here on out. It's an unimpeachable connector.
XLR. Well, how much can you put over XLR?
Like, it's a big, thick, fat cable. I bet you could put 1,000 over it probably.
How do I Google that? XLR power.
While you are looking this up,
rating.
I will quickly add my opinion to this mix, which is I think that barring some kind of major catastrophe, and I'm not wishing for this to happen, but it's usually how this goes, right? They're going to keep going with something that's imperfect unless somebody dies pretty much, or some kind of major horrible catastrophe happens that would cause the general public to go, ooh, that's I'm not gonna eat your Tylenol anymore. I'm not gonna do this anymore. Like, oh, that was an old reference. But like in general.
Wow, I got that one.
I don't know where my brain is today, but
yeah.
Basically, if you shake public safety or consumers' confidence in safety enough, then that's when it causes you to have to be like, okay, I got to go back to the drawing board because I have to basically I can't. This is now basically toxic as a concept for marketing. I need something
only in like the nerd audiences, though.
Well, but that's the thing. Like
I mean, that's where this is a concern to begin with, right? Because the general mainstream audience, they're not going to be talking about like 5090s at launch.
Yeah. That's my point. So like I think there will continue to be slight revisions. I don't think they're going to go back to the complete drawing board, and the 5090 is going to have a completely different plug. I think they will just continue to revise it. Also, I think a lot of the damage has already been done. Sure, it hasn't killed somebody, but like the stink on the 12 volt 2x6 is pretty smelly. I mean, there's I still get messages of people being like, I'm never even going to buy one.
People really hate the 12 volt 2x6. It's like the Corvair of PC power connectors.
I don't know that reference.
Yeah, Ralph Nader did a documentary called Unsafe at Any Speed about, I think it was the Corvair because it had the gas tank. Yeah, it had the gas tank where if you got rear-ended, the car just exploded. And it killed a lot of people.
Is that a feature or a bug?
Bug.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like the thing that Elena's talking about though is the Fight Club bit, right? Where the cost of doing the recall and fixing the problem until it's more expensive to not fix it than it is to fix it, they're not going to fix it, right? And that's where we're at. We're in it's not expensive enough because they only sold like 18 5090s.
Yeah, I don't know. You're probably right.
I mean,
and reviewers have all of them.
Yeah. Hey, if anybody has a 5090 in chat, post a thumbs up emoji.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not down on it. And it is, especially for small form factor, it is really nice to have like one small cable running rather than
for every computer. It's nice to have one small cable than a giant pigtail.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. Follow-up question, Boria Zero. If they continue to revise it, what's the point of upgrading to a PSU to get one if you'll be out of spec in a couple years? So somebody pointed out earlier. Okay. Chris Barbara, thank you for the comment, but there's only questions in this Discord channel.
No, here we go.
Yeah, sorry. It's just if they continue to revise it, what's the point of upgrading to a PCU? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I bought one with both the 12 volt 2x6 and the old 8-pin style. So actually, I mean, most of the GPUs I see too are not pulling off.
You mean most of power supplies?
Power supplies are not pulling off 8-pin power.
They still have
except for small form factor because obviously the space is minor. So actually, I would say most of the power supplies you're still getting both anyway.
But they have a lot of they also have a lot of they use those same plugs for the CPU 12 volt power and the CPU supplemental ATX, I guess is what that is. Yeah. And SATA and all. They don't use it for SATA usually because those are 6 pins, but it's all the high load stuff goes out of those same 8-pin headers usually.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. All right. I should cue these up beforehand. Retro Sean, here's a good one. Why does the internet gather the outrage ponies over placeholder prices on storefronts instead of just waiting for launch day? Why do they stop outraging when 5090s and 5080s increase in street price by over 100%? Okay. So two separate things here.
It is very expensive to maintain your outrage pony. So if you just have it stabled at home, you have to do all the maintenance and bear the cost yourself. Now, if you just let them run free, then they can just feed on that and you don't have to pay for it.
I like this. This is really good.
That's very good. Nice. No further. I have nothing to add, Your Honor.
Fuller notes, yeah.
I had no idea. I'd never thought about the cost of the outrage pony.
Yeah, those costs got to go somewhere, right? The costs continue to pile.
Oh God, you have to be so angry all the time to keep them going without the internet just there.
The internet is there. Yeah. It gives you the free food to rage on. Okay, so there's a couple questions here. This is actually something that Paul over at Paul's Hardware talked about in one of his recent news videos, I think it was, about the pricing stuff. And as somebody who he had worked at Newegg before, I don't know if you know that, but the placeholder prices, most retailers need to put in a placeholder price, which is why sometimes
like in their CMS when they're putting in the
exactly,
product.
which is
Yeah.
a lot of times like a leak will come out and be like, oh my god, this retailer price this. Look at that, it's going to be this, and it's like, okay, well, you got to take that with a grain of salt because it's just a placeholder. Who knows who made that? They're literally just making the placeholder post and maybe just threw in a price just for fun, so you don't know.
I mean, yes, but I will have to say, coming from the print side, one of the things they teach you is that you never put in placeholder that you don't want to accidentally hit the public eye, right? So that's why you see things like TK, 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 which means like to come, or you see like the lorem ipsum type text in there because you just don't want to accidentally have something where it's like, I hate my neighbor and I hope someone blows up their house. Like you don't want that accidentally getting out.
Never, ever, ever.
And so I've always been kind of confused why retailers just don't put something like 9999999 or something.
Or
just where
$1.
it's just very, or just like so obvious that it's not real. It's a placeholder.
That is a good question.
This is an easily solvable problem that keeps coming up over and over and over again.
Yeah. And then the second part of the question is why do the outrage ponies stop outraging when 5080s and 5090s increase in street price by over 100%? Are you sure they stop? Because I feel like that's what a lot of people continue to talk about prices. So just so you know, this is something we've definitely talked on the back end here at PCWorld. Is like, okay, prices are increasing for a lot of reasons. The main one right now is around the whole tariff situation. We have multiple vendors coming out. Like Acer recently was like, oh, hey, all of our laptops are going to go up 10%. MSI for desktop GPUs was like, hey, we're going to have to increase prices. So there's a lot of that stuff right now. And so that whole, cost equation is definitely in a murky spot. So how do you talk about that as a reviewer? Number one. Number two, what's beneficial for the end user? To be like, oh, well, should I buy now? Should I wait? Is this something that's going to happen, and hit me where I need it? So I actually think there's a lot of outrage, and some of it is justified too. I mean, we're kind of in a bad spot in terms of pricing across the board.
I mean, I think everybody, the tariff thing, the ambiguity around the tariffs and the on and off, on again, off again nature of them makes it incredibly difficult to talk about this in an intelligent way, because it's entirely possible, as we record this on Tuesday afternoon Pacific time, tariffs are on, as I understand it. And if the right people complain, or the Wall Street Journal or somebody on the right news network says, hey, I think this is stupid, it's entirely possible that they'll be off by the time you're listening to this on Thursday. So like, I don't like, how do we include price in the review? We like, traditionally we care more about performance than price, right? That's our
bigger bar better.
That's my understanding. That's always be testing in bigger bar better. It's the things we've always said here since the very beginning at the Full Nerd.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I don't know, like, don't be mad at the reviewers if the tariff prices are jacking your stuff up. That's my advice. That's my feeling.
Well, and also like we did that video with the that MSI Supreme Liquid RTX 5090 and the EGP thing. I think at that point, did we know the pricing at that point?
No, we did not know the pricing when we recorded the video.
And then when we did know the pricing, it changed.
It was $2,500, and then it was suddenly much more expensive.
Yeah, I think it. And I think shot up to like $2,900.
Well, and didn't the other card that was also like an external AIO cooler come out with the tariff pricing to begin? Like we have a weird situation where some vendors are giving us tariff prices and some vendors are giving us not tariff prices. So like all of the 5090 stuff we had was non-tariff prices. So those are all going to be more expensive now. Presumably the cards we review in the future will be the post-tariff prices. But those prices might change because like the right guy goes on Fox and Friends one morning and says something and then everything gets turned off. So
I don't know. Yeah,
politics and tech meet here. I'm sorry. I apologize for bringing it up.
Well, and I do wonder like people's taste for this. Like I know it's definitely souring a lot of people on PC building, at least right now. It's like, you know what? I was going to buy a new GPU, but now it's not a good time to buy it. Like this is kind of the same thing that we've experienced a couple times, at least since my time in PC World now. So yeah, I feel like people are just tuning out maybe for a little bit. Be like, you know what? I'm going to come to it later. So,
Look, my 1080 Ti is still good.
yes. Yeah, I mean,
the
yeah.
GOAT.
Yeah, it's a Hall
It's
of
the
Fame.
greatest video card of all time.
Yeah, Hall of Fame inductee. We need it in the Hall of Fame. So I don't know. But Retro Sean would like to follow it up and point it out. Like they just feel like more people are outraging about placeholder prices than outrageous street prices. I don't know if I agree with that.
So serious answer to that perception would be, I think people have been, or I don't know, maybe they've become desensitized, or maybe they just kind of expect that street prices are gonna, at this point, just be what they are because of the, as we call it, the enshittification of the internet and the bots, and just not the ability to put resources towards trying to control some of that. And so we don't like that reality, but that's kind of just where it's been sitting. And it's not, as you said, we've gone through several cycles of this. It's not just in recent times, but even was it 2018 when the mining thing really took off, and it was just such a problem. So at this point, we've got so many years under our belt just kind of dealing with it. Whereas I think when you look at a placeholder price and you think it might be real, it feels different that a company is actually setting a price at a certain place, right? As opposed to, even though we know it's potentially just a placeholder, but people look at it and think, oh, it could be real. And that's where the outrage starts coming from, because it's easier to get mad at a single entity than it is to just get mad at the wider internet. I mean, you can get mad at the wider internet. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of people who do. However, when you have a single focus for your outrage, man, you can just say the telepony, head that direction. Just go right there. Point your head towards it, and you're just going to go run straight. There you go.
It's just it's sitting there running, and you just pick it up, and it continues to flop its legs, and then you put it down in the direction you want it to go.
I mean, it's a pony. It's smaller. You probably could pick it up.
A Shetland pony, maybe. Those are probably still pretty heavy.
I used to Shetland pony when I was a kid. It was 400 pounds. You couldn't have lifted that thing up.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
you maybe squatted if you could get up underneath it, but I don't think it would have let you do that.
Yeah,
that's a good way to get it.
This is what people should do with their outrage ponies when they're stabled, right? It's like to get the workout, you just try working squatting that weight.
Just do a squat,
deadlifting your outrage pony.
Oh, no.
There, I like it.
Oh, my hot take is, hey, maybe the folks that you're paying attention to are just full of anger, and you should hang out with more chill, fun people.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's definitely something Gordon talked a lot about too. Is we're here because we love the PC, and we're going to talk about this hardware either way. So, and that's definitely been my philosophy for a number of reasons, which we can get into at some point. But yeah, it's hey, listen, we're still going to look at this hardware because we're interested in it, whether that's valuable to you or not. Take it or leave it kind of thing. I don't think this means everybody should just stop testing until prices stabilize, because who knows, Well,
I mean, here's the thing. The test results will be more or less the same until major driver changes happen, right? The prices are going to vary, but you can look at the test results, and you can look at the current prices and make your own and get your jump to conclusions mapped out, and you can go from, hey, this card performs this well and now costs this much, and jump to what our conclusion would be.
Yeah.
Just extrapolate.
Yeah. All right. Here's one from Stained Glass, apropos of nothing. With NVIDIA's confirming February 19th for 5070 Ti MSRP reviews, sales on the 20th, with the 5070 regular sales on March 5th, alongside the February 28th full reveal of the RX 9070 XT, and early March launch window. APM, are you looking forward to returning to the testing dungeon for a month? Adam, blink three times if you're already in the dungeon and deep in the charts.
Oh, I wish you had the glasses on.
Look dead in
still.
the camera. There you go. Adam just winked how many
twice.
times? Twice.
For audio listeners, Adam only blinked twice.
No, he winked one eye, then the other eye, then the other eye.
I can't even see that
can't
from
see
my
the- you
position.
can't see
So,
the left
yeah,
eye.
I did. What does it mean?
It's a mixed message.
Who knows? Who knows what it means? I don't know. Yeah, we have more GPUs coming. So once again, that's the conundrum that we were just talking about. It's hey, this hardware, we're still going to look at it. We're still going to test it. And yeah, that's just what we're doing. And no, Brad is not on vacation. He's not feeling well. Husky Tech.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully he gets better sooner, because that really sucks.
Hey, can we do this Rurudu question from the chat?
Yeah, please ask it.
Rurudu M says, is anyone undervolting 5090 limit its power draw?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that
Adam
one.
shot his hand up immediately
Yeah.
for audio listeners.
Thanks,
Sorry.
Thanks, Elena.
So yeah, I haven't had time, but I really did want to do a video on the power limiting the 5090, but then also overclocking or the 5080.
Yeah.
Because
The 5080 is an overclocking beast by all reports.
well, and the 5090, like, I guess I have my numbers here. I can bring them up real quick on my notes. But yeah, like I was just quickly. Here we go. So, and this is not undervolting. I mean, I did. Yeah. This is literally just power limiting. So a 5090 at stock, I was running Cyberpunk at 4K with DLSS balanced, RT overdrive. Balanced is like 1200p, something like that. I can't remember. RT overdrive, so full path tracing. So pushing it to its limits. At stock, it was 75 frames per second with lows of 68. Power draw was 518 watts and temperatures were 74C. I tried it a bunch of different ways, but I bumped it down to 70% power limit. So essentially saying only use up to 70% of the power you can do, and then I added a plus 200 megahertz to the core clock. Yeah. So not a huge thing. I probably could have pushed it further, but I went from 75 average to 72 average. So not too far off, 3 frames
In Cyberpunk? That's pretty good.
But the power draw dropped from 518 watts to 406.
Oh, that's really good.
So over 100 watts. Percentage wise, that's like 20%.
20, yeah.
And then the temperature didn't decrease as much, but from 74 to 70. So like, yeah, like I was just like, oh wow, you can really, get some nice savings by just a straight power limit and maybe a slight overclock. Once again, this is not undervolting. I do want to try that as well, but this is just power limiting.
Yeah.
So super cool. And I mean, if you are somebody who has a 5090 and you're worried about your house burning down, I mean, you're literally shaving off more than 100 watts off the top end. So giving yourself a little bit of extra headroom.
So I've been just frame rate limiting in games when I don't care about performance. Mm-hmm. I'll just lock it to like 120 or 180 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it turns out sometimes you don't even hear fans at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, that's what I mean for gaming. Like, I really think those, gaming scenarios, you can do a lot to not worry too much.
It's also worth mentioning that's going to vary. Like, that's probably the best case scenario, Cyberpunk, because it's a lot of ray tracing and it uses the tensor cores and all that stuff. I think in a more
this is just one
game,
test. This is just one test. So
stuff that's like pure raster, you'll see a bigger dip in perf would be a bigger dip in performance when you turn the clocks down.
Yeah,
the power down.
And then on the other side, the 5080. So I did that same test. It got 45 average, pulled 318 watts. There, I increased the core clock by 400 megahertz and the VRAM clock by 500 megahertz. I was able to go from 45 average to 50 average just by that increase alone, and it was completely stable for what I was doing. And it only added 6 watts, so 324 versus 318, and only 1 degree C. So like the 5080, has some headroom too, and like closer to those numbers. So I don't remember what the percentage is on this, but I've seen other people do this test as well. So closer to those numbers, you're talking about like at stock, it was 10%-ish, 10 to 12%-ish over the 4080 Super. But then with this, you can add another 10% on top of it, and you actually get right there with the 4090, which a lot of people were hoping for. So
it's very cool.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to mess around with that. So yeah. Anyway, Zapirate asks, have you seen the NVIDIA prototype PCB with 4 12-volt 2x6 connectors? No. But I do have a power supply on hand that has 2 12 volt 2x6 on the power
I have
supply
two
itself.
12 volt 2x6 on mine. Yeah.
Yeah, that's craziness. No, that would be cool. We don't get to see that special stuff. Magical Flying Fox asks, how much emphasis should GPU reviews give on elevated early pricing? Do you think the elevated pricing will go down to NVIDIA MSRP this time with the current tariffs, or even the base models in the next 6 to 12 months? We're going back to what we were talking about.
I don't think we're going to see. I think the MSRPs are all that they listed at CS are all pre-tariff. So add 10 to 30%. It seems like the vibe on that.
Yeah. I don't know.
I just feel like the answer to that is we don't know. I feel like things are very chaotic right now. So you can honestly do yourself a favor. And when you're thinking about budgets, add like potential chaos like buffer in your budget and hope that you don't have to eat all the way into it. But I think that's unfortunately going to be the reality because, I mean, honestly, just with how much things have been kind of changing in the last, month?
Yeah.
Not even, well, now I guess, not even a month. Like how are we supposed to predict, like not even just us as the team talking here, but as a group, as hardware enthusiasts, how much we can't really predict what's going to happen 3, 6, 12 months at this point.
Well, and when you look at the bill of goods on these cards, like they have room to come down potentially and hit those MSRPs. But if people are buying them at the MSRP plus the tariff price, then they're not going to come down. So it's like it's just supply and demand at the end of the day.
Plus 6 layer chaos on top of it.
Yeah, plus 10% or 20% or 30%, depending on what category you're in.
Yeah, right. That's why, once again, so we're going retreading a little bit here, but I think I personally, this is just my personal feeling, when I watch reviews of hardware, I usually don't give two craps about the value judgment. Like I'm not, it's not because I don't like value. I'm not Gordon,
I'm clutching my pearls.
I know,
here.
no. But to me, and we've talked about this before, value means so many different things to so many people. So I'm going to call out Steve here because I love Steve. This is not anything against Steve. I'm just using him as an excuse.
Podcast beef.
I know, podcast.
2025.
He doesn't have a podcast, so we can't start podcast beef.
YouTube beef 2025.
Yeah. So once again, not discounting Steve's opinions. I love Steve. He's a fabulous guy with fabulous hair. But that is the part of the review that I care the least about hearing is like his be like, okay, well, here's the performance. Now let's talk about value and if I think it's worth it. Because if what Steve thinks is worth something could be wildly different than what I think is worth something. So I don't really watch that part. I don't really care because he could look at something and be like, oh, well, I don't think this is worth the money. But then I could look at it and be like, oh, this is 100% worth my money. So like any once again, not just trying to pick on Steve, but pick, like for me, any hardware review I watch, I don't really care too much about like their assessment of it. Because,
I get where you're coming from. But I think that's honestly I wouldn't say a disservice to yourself, but maybe a little bit that a good reviewer will be consistent in how they make these calls. And so a good reviewer should be able to bring up points in that assessment that at least helps you make a more informed choice for yourself, if that makes sense. Yep. So I think that even if it's like having any good discussion with somebody, because I mean, you're never going to come to a more informed decision by just talking to someone who fully agrees with you or sees things exactly the way you do.
That's true.
But it could be helpful where, if you hear someone's opinion that is maybe slightly perpendicular to yours or just at a different angle than yours, you can go, okay, I see your point. That does explain something to me that maybe I should keep in mind for if I'm recommending this to somebody else myself, or if I'm talking to another coworker who performs a similar job to me, but not exactly the same, that I can mention it to them. But I do understand what you're saying with the whole, like, it's not pertinent to me. I just think that there's still a lot of not to make it a pun, but there's still a lot of value to reviewers discussing value, because it also can help people who aren't necessarily thinking of those points figure out for themselves what they value. But I think maybe that's a TLDR version of it.
I like, generally speaking, I think I agree with you, Elena, in this particular instance where the prices are where there's so many variables ranging from like AI bubble induced demand to tariff pricing to instability in Taiwan where the GPUs are all manufactured and all the 50 million different things that are going on. Like, I don't,
chips are manufactured.
Chips are manufactured, right? Sorry, the boards are assembled elsewhere. I feel like we're in a situation where it's difficult to meet the standards that those reviewers have done in the if we were able to make a good assessment of this for the last generation, because we knew that the Ethereum mining was done and we knew that there was going to be mad mining demand and AI demand was rising but predictable, I think you could make a value that time. I think this time, since we don't really know what anything's going to actually cost in any conceivable way, and the prices are changing from the 4 days before, like we're getting hardware and don't know what the price is at the embargo lift. That's crazy, right?
Sure. Sure.
We're through the looking glass on price and value in this context. But
I also think that in that situation, again, I think maybe a little into the weeds of what the art of reviewing here. If y'all want to see what it's like, how the sausage is made. But I think, to your point, Will, that when you don't know, that in itself is how you make the value call, right? We're just saying, like, we don't have the information to give you. So here are the things to think about based on projections of what it could be. This, if it's this, then maybe think about it this way. If it's this, think about it this way. It makes more work for us reviewers, but I don't think it means that. It just means that we can't help people navigate that thought process, right? Because it's no different than when people come out and they say, how can this be more expensive? It's 15 years later and I still want to pay this price that I paid, over a decade ago. And we say, well, like, here's the thing. Value to you is going to be what's value to you. However, here are the factors that went into that. Here are some details around that, so you can decide for yourself if you want to change your position, if you find that a reasonable change. And you know what? You're an intelligent person. You can make that call for yourself. Here is the info you might need to keep that into perspective. Also, here's the information so that if you need to stable your RH pony, you can find maybe other pastures for them.
You can't stable that RH pony. Yeah.
Let me introduce you to Star Wars.
Yeah. I don't know. This is the other thing too, and somebody said this. I need to go back and look. That this is the other point. Oh crap! I can't. I'm sorry. I can't find who said it. But the other thing too is like a lot of these reviews around CPUs or GPUs, CPUs especially, that like they get reviewed in the content in every reviewer has glasses that they put on, right? They're reviewing something through their own lenses of what they're doing. Yes, like these. They'll put their glasses on and they'll look at it. Yeah. And so like a CPU review, a lot of times will have a heavily thick glasses. Sorry, this analogy, it's not working, over gaming. And I'm like, I don't really care. I want to know how it performs in like video production or like any sort of other things. Yeah, like that kind of stuff. I mean, I guess I'm not doing much video production anyway. But photo editing, I don't know.
Emails,
photo editing is a good one because there's not a ton of people who do tests for photo editing.
Yeah, it's true.
I actually want to do more tests, right? And it's like, okay, so if somebody says, okay, well here's this CPU, most of the benchmarks I ran were gaming, and my final take is it's crap. No one should ever buy it. If you bought this, you're an idiot. And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's actually twice as fast than this other CPU for photo editing. So you're telling me it's crap and that nobody should ever buy it, but actually for my use case, it's an awesome product and I would buy it.
Yeah.
I 100% where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from. I would just say that those thick glasses are not just because of their point of view and like their kind of focus, but it's also because every outlet, every channel has an audience that they're speaking to. And if their audience keeps pushing back and saying, we only want to know about gaming, we only want to know how this applies to our lives, then that's the audience you focused on. And I think that's why, to channel Gordon, that's why once all of this became so much more democratized, right? Because before in the old days, like, and Will dates back to this, Gordon dates back to this.
Man, another old joke at Will.
It's not a
beef,
joke.
internal podcast beef.
I'm part of this too. I'm just saying, in the old days, a lot of people had more limited resources for information, right? Like you had the one magazine you had the subscription to. You had to go down to the store, if you wanted to try to compare. And even then there was literally limited real estate to publish your findings. But now you have so many different sources. So you can just go out and look at them. And that's why we also encourage it. Like there are so many great reviewers out there. And so as long as you understand who their audience is, you can also contextualize for yourself how pertinent that information is to you. Like obviously for you, Adam, if somebody's just, dumping on something because it's not a great gaming card, but not really talking about the content creation side, then that information is not going to be as informative for you. So, that's kind of how I feel, where it's like now that there's so many avenues for the information, I don't think it does anybody a service to get outraged that there's not the information that they're looking for, because you can literally just type in a search or scroll down the search results and watch somebody else's review or read someone else's review, and you can get that info you're looking for.
Well, this actually happened in another Discord I'm in recently. Somebody posted a PC build that they had, and I think it was a 14700 KF. And immediately somebody got on and was like, bro, why'd you get that? You should have got an AMD. You know what I mean? Right? And it's just like, because the narrative is like, nobody should ever buy Intel. That thing's going to burn up. It's going to be horrible. And they came back with like actual reasons why they wanted that one. And it's like, so this whole narrative gets built around like, this is junk. Nobody should ever buy this. And it's like, dude, chill out. Guess what? Other people can have other opinions. You know what I mean? Right?
I get it.
Yeah. Or also the word, there's a word that I hate. If
here it comes.
Should. Every time I watch a review, man, we're starting podcast beef here.
YouTube beef.
I know.
2025 continues.
Have a long holiday weekend. Come back. Very salty.
Burn it all down.
Every time I hear somebody say, well, you know what they should have done.
Adam, what should they have done?
Well, you know what NVIDIA should have done.
I bet they should have made something that didn't suck.
You know what Intel should have done. It's like, okay, well, so they should have for your needs, but guess like the 5090, right? The 5090 is not.
I'm going to be completely unemployable at the end of this podcast.
You know what NVIDIA should have done with the 5090?
Good thing you have your own.
Can we pick
expression?
Yeah, can we pick some other people? Like, who should we go? You want to say something like, anyway.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh man, the 5090 isn't great for gaming. You know what they should have done?
If I was making it, what I would have done? I would have put 4 more gigs of RAM in there, and then it would have been freaking rad.
Or
you know what, Adam?
The 9950X3D should have had 2 CCDs with Vcache.
I'm interrupting this, and I shouldn't, because as someone just pointed out in chat, this is your rant of the week, and I am here for it. I think this is the best way to keep Gordon's spirit alive. Heck yes, Adam.
I've been holding on to this for a while. Actually,
yeah, he starts this a lot. This is a regular conversation.
Because it's like, okay, so you're saying that so somebody should have changed this whole scenario. I'm sorry, I don't mean these
glasses. They spent $1 billion developing the 5090 at NVIDIA, just to be clear. Literally billions of dollars, and thousands of people worked on it for a period of 5+ years. And you, the YouTube guy, is saying,
you know what they should have done.
It's always guys that say this too. Have you noticed that?
Well, yeah.
Weird.
Yes.
Yes.
Will.
Weird.
Yes, I have noticed that. It's not like it has not stood as a detail to me in my life experience.
I know, Elena. I was asking him. I know.
Yeah. I've never heard Elena say, you know what they should have done. Yeah. Sorry.
Especially not in that voice.
That would be hilarious, though. And so, anytime I hear a reviewer say, oh, this is what this company should have done, it's like, okay, well, you're not the only person on the planet, dude. Oh, I'm so sorry they didn't do the thing that you wish they would have done. So who know? Maybe they made a decision for X, Y, and Z. There's so many factors that go into play behind the scenes, and you're right. Maybe it is a crap product, and they should have done something else. But it's not framed in that way. not like the 5090. Oh, well, why'd they do this with the 5090? You know what they should have done? It's like, well, actually, or maybe the 5090s for AI. Maybe they made all the decisions based off of AI, and the gaming was secondary. Rather than like, what they should have done for gaming. It's like, well,
you really hate should, don't you?
Okay.
That word.
I will
sets
say,
me off.
friend of the show, Boria Zero, has a good follow-up question to this rant.
Oh no.
Not that I am against the rant, but they said they're pretty sure that NVIDIA spends money and time developing 12-volt high power. Hard not to argue that they should have done it a bit different. Sweat drop emoji.
I don't know. Do they think that?
I'm not an engineer.
No, it's hard for
I'm not
us
an electrical
as a
engineer.
third-party observers.
Oh, got it. Yeah. So, who knows? Maybe on the NVIDIA land, they have 10 different reasons why they went that way and why they're going to continue to go that way. And, whether they're right or wrong, it's just like, okay, yeah.
But before Adam picked beef with the entire internet, I was going to say that one of the things that's different about now than the old days is that in like the distant past, the year 2000, we knew that we were a niche publication at Maximum PC. When I was working at Ars Technica, we knew we were a niche publication at Ars Technica, and now we've gotten to a point where all the viewers are concentrated on these giant sites, whether it's YouTube or Reddit or Threads, I guess. I don't know where else people go.
Threads.
That the audiences the audiences are so large for even like what would have been a niche of a niche of a niche in 2002 that they feel like they're enormous juggernauts, right? So you have a reasonably successful YouTube channel and you have 100,000 people watch every video, and like 100,000 views on a video isn't a lot of views on YouTube, but is an unimaginably large number of people to be watching something that you make as a human being. Like the town that I grew up in had 45,000 people. And once my Twitter profile crossed 45,000 people, I was like, well, I no longer have any concept of how many people this is, right? And it's hard to keep those things in your brain and not have them mess you up in a way that's important and bad and like I'm just rambling at this point. But like
I love rambling.
Yeah, my point is you have to not listen to you have to remember that 100,000 views is not 100,000 people does not a movement make in the modern internet, because YouTube has 2 billion people that use it every day or something ridiculous. That's where I'm going.
Yeah, I mean, just there's other things to think about. I do want to say JS. No, I'm not unquestionably defending a $1 trillion company for their decisions. I'm saying
we're not equipped to say what you're saying is we're not equipped to make that judgment. We're not equipped to say what the $1 billion company should do. All we are equipped to say is, hey, this product is good, or hey, this product is bad.
For me or you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't even like it's hard for me, and maybe this is like a imposter syndrome stuff, but like it's hard for me to also be like, hey, you know what? I think you should buy this. I think this is a good thing. Like I struggle with that. I feel okay talking about my experience, and hey, if your experience lines up with mine, then cool. Then you might have a good thing with this. But if it doesn't, then maybe it's not for you. So yeah.
Also,
it's a lot of responsibility. Telling somebody what to do with their money, because you don't know what it means to them. You don't know if it's just a kind of a throwaway purchase for them for fun, or if it's something they've spent hours and hours and hours of labor to save up for, right? So I understand completely what you're talking about, which is why a lot of times you'll hear reviewers kind of nervously say, if you are in this position and you have these things and here are all the little things, here is a card that you probably should consider. Like you just like asterisk.
Well,
yeah.
Little cross.
But that's a really core concept, right? Like if you are making $500,000 a year, then a $2,000 video card is a very different expenditure for you than somebody who is in college and skipped buying their meal plan so they'd have $2,000 to buy to have money to buy a new video card, right? Like it's very hard for us to sit in every single person's shoes and say, hey, this is a good value, because I don't know what your situation is. I only know what my situation is. Like I can't describe value other than to say, hey, yeah, this is better than the other one that's on the market, or this is worse than the other one that's on the market. The other thing I want to say, somebody, I think it was JS maybe, said in chat something about the companies intentionally screwing over customers. And while I think there's something important to unpack here, right? Because typically companies don't try to intentionally screw over customers. They're going to always try to make more money, as much money as they possibly can. That is
it's capitalism, baby.
We live in a capitalist society, and that is table stakes. If you don't understand that, you're in a bad spot. But also typically companies that screw over their customers lose customers over time. This is like they are like, it's always easy to I guess what I'm trying to say is, don't assume conspiracy when, hey, it's just capitalism is generally the answer.
Which, I mean, and you could not like that for sure, but then stop buying it. That was Gordon's whole thing with with Steve, that whole video of like, well, you keep complaining about it, but you keep buying it. So, like, you know.
The problem is in the mirror.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Ian Cuttress in the chat here says,
Hello,
the
Ian.
more you buy, the more you save.
Right? Yeah. So,
there you go.
I don't know. Once again, not, and we're picking on NVIDIA here. I'm not trying to defend them, but it's also like, well, guess what? If they sell all the cards at the prices that they have, what's their incentive to try to sell it for a lower price or anything like that? Like, do you think they're the bad? Like, oh, I can't wait, man. We got to think of ways to screw everybody over. This is hilarious. And they're like,
Right.
well, crap. People keep buying it at $1,200.
Here's the thing,
what
though.
if we make it $1,400?
I do think, though, that there is a sliver of maybe not truth, but like something that you can understand in the other perspective that you're arguing against, right? Because it's like, yes, it is capitalism. Yes, it is corporations just trying to make as much money as possible, you know, for the health of their business, to answer to their shareholders as applicable, so on and so forth. But I think there is always still a little bit of room in that to decide, like, how much are you going to shave to the bone? Like, how much? It's like, do you want to go to a store that gives you absolutely nothing as like in generosity, or are you going to go to Costco where they have ridiculous return policies until everyone abused it too much, right?
Right. Yeah.
So there are different ways that businesses can approach capitalism, and I think that is a fair thing to say from the other side, just as it's fair from our side to say, well, it is also capitalism, right? So like there's a range there that companies can choose to lean into.
Well, because it's like how much profit, right? It's like, okay, well, how much profit should we get on, or try to get on this? So, and they do have direct control over that.
Well,
so
they do.
But and like if you,
I mean, and the tariff stuff notwithstanding, right? It's
yes.
If we interview Jensen and we're like, hey, let's talk about the 1080 Ti and what an incredible card it was. Why was it only $700? And his answer is going to be, we messed up the pricing on the 1080 Ti, or we had so many of these failed Titan cards, or I can't remember what the model, what the high end version of the card was at the time, that were failing. It was Titans that were failing, that were binning badly, that we had to get rid of these chips, and so we decided to take a huge haircut on them. And people loved that, and it ended up being really bad for our consumer GPU business for years, because it set expectations that were unreasonable for the next 3 generations. Like the answer isn't, oh, well, we really love gamers and we wanted them to have something great. The answer was, oh, we should have charged more for that because we could have made a lot more money because people really loved those cards and they were really good. It was too good for the price. And like that sucks. Just to be clear, I don't love this answer, but this is the problem with the thing that we have.
At the end of the day, I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's complicated. Like, you can't just boil it down to say, you know what they should have done. It's just like, well, who knows?
That was fabulous, Adam. That was so good.
Exactly. It's always complicated.
I know we're almost done with this topic, and I probably should let you put a pin in it and move on. However, I do think that Jay has had a great follow-up question that we should answer.
Ooh,
which
we
is,
should.
what is the point? I actually
should.
really feel
Elena's
strongly
gonna
about this one.
Different
Kill
shit.
you.
Yeah.
Is that what is their point of review then? Is it just to put stats on a screen and leave it at that? It's a wholehearted, like a genuine question.
This is a metaphorical question that is deep and hard, and I've been thinking about for literally 25 years at this point. Because this,
Yo, why are we doing this?
why am I here?
Why am I here?
Why are we doing this?
What is my purpose on this?
What was I made for?
Okay, so
Oh boy.
a lot
Oh,
of
we're getting deep.
a lot of
That is a good question.
A lot of the
wait.
crimes-
Turn your chair
Oh, yeah,
backward.
hold on.
Yeah,
Real
yeah,
talk.
yeah. Here we go.
Real talk.
Yeah, he's for audio listeners. He's standing up and turning his chair backwards and
There's no baseball
doing
cap,
the teacher
though.
thing now. Yeah. Oh, we have put his headphones on. Oh, now the stereo is going to be completely off. You're screwed.
Okay, so here's this is the conversation when I started at Maximum PC 100 years ago. It was Maximum
In the old
PC,
days.
minimum BS. And the only thing we cared about was pure PC power, right? We cared about performance and we didn't care about prices. And it was in many ways
Sounds oddly like Gordon.
yeah, like look, weird. The seeds were planted a long time ago.
Weird.
It was a stupid in a lot of ways. It was a simpler time. There wasn't very much hardware out there. The gap between the good stuff and the bad stuff was much broader in a lot of cases.
And that's clear.
Yeah, very clear. And
Of like, oh no, this literally just doesn't work
yeah, this is a thing. Look,
for anybody.
yeah, here's the thing that in no way, shape, or form can we make it work. But it was still a bad framing mechanism in a lot of ways because it meant that we would get a video. It's like somebody would overclock a video card by 12 megahertz. I mean, this is back when video cards ran at like 220.
No, I was about to say, I was like,
it
12
wasn't-
megahertz.
It wasn't a lot. Look, I wore an onion on my
simpler
belt.
times.
This was the style at the time. But they'd overclock it 3% and they'd get 3% better benchmark numbers. And then we would have to give it a friggin' good score because it was 3% faster and $100 more, right? Not like I said, this was a strategy that was established well before I was there. You can't hold on. What was the question? Why do we benchmark?
Why are we doing this?
You have to. At the end of the day, where we ended up with was we're going to tell people what this performance is. Every single person is going to have to evaluate the value on their own because it's a personal decision based on their financial states, not the hardware is independent of Elena's financial state, your financial state, my financial state. And what might be a great value for me is a terrible value for you or vice versa based on, like whether you have a kid going to college that year or something. Like it could be anything. So anyway, I'm going to turn the chair back around. And
This is uncomfortable.
Okay, and then fix your headphones.
It's a
Yeah,
little
that's cool.
wide.
I thought you were
Yeah.
going to just sit there until the end of the
I
show.
can sit here
That
like
would
this.
be
No, just switch back.
Take a nap.
Yeah, we've had a real
I think-
talk.
I think the non-existential crisis version of this for me is just the point of review is to put, as I said earlier, and I think I've just, belabored this over the course of this whole episode, is that the point of review is to get information into your hands and to be clear what the potential context of that information is, because you're right. It is very difficult if someone just says, it rained 5 times this week. And you're like, great, I have this piece of information now. I don't know if
You're
that's
right.
good or bad. And if someone just tells you it rained 5 times this week, that's bad. It also still doesn't give you maybe the full context for you to have an informed opinion yourself. So the right way, in my opinion, I guess apparently you triggered the black and white thinking in
love
me
it.
by just
Yes.
saying should so many times, Adam. To me, the more correct way, the better approach maybe to this is to say it rained 5 times this week. The ground is not prepared for that level of saturation. It is bad because now we've got flooding. And so now you have all this context behind it and you can decide for yourself how you feel about your friend complaining about their day.
Well,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's nothing operates in a vacuum, right? Like that's at the end of the day, somebody like I know you guys probably get the same question. I go see somebody. I'm out with my kids and their friends' parents are there and like, hey, we need a new computer. What should we get? And like that's a 2-hour conversation from that point because it's like, what do you do with your computer, right? Do you need to use it?
What's your budget?
Yeah. Do you have a place where you do it? How much money do you want to spend? Do the kids play games? Do you want the kids to play games? Do you want them to like be able to do homework on this? What is the desire to get a computer?
How long do you want to ride that into the sunset?
Yeah, and then usually the answer is, well, we have a $300 HP that we bought like 5 years ago and somebody dropped it and it broke, so we need a new computer. And then you say, okay, just go to Best Buy and buy whichever one you like the keyboard on and you're good to go. Don't buy an ARM one, maybe. But you have to get that context from them to be able to give them the intelligent answer that's based on the knowledge that we have buried deep in our brains from being broken and doing this for a long time. And that's it.
Well, and see, that's the fun part of it. And now that I'm realizing we're going real deep today.
I'm going to start a new service where people can pay me and I'll tell them what computer to buy.
Well, see that like that is the fun part is sitting down and working it out with somebody and be like, okay, what are your needs? And then going in your Rolodex of brain and be like, okay, well they need this, this, or this. Go in my
what
Rolodex.
A reference, Rolodex.
Yeah.
Wait, does anyone even know what that is anymore?
I don't know. Kids these days.
It's like a hit James Belushi movie, Taking Care of Business, where he lost his Filofax, right? It's the same thing.
So that's why I feel like I mean and so many of the videos we do, if you couldn't tell on PCWorld and here on the Full Nerd is group, right? I mean I like watching videos where people are discussing stuff rather than just like spewing numbers to a screen. So I think that's probably the deeper part of it too, is just like, okay, there's only so much number spewing I can get to a screen. I like hearing people have a conversation about something. But then also then use it in a context. Yeah. Like really like the funnest part would, just be to talk everyone who has a question of like, ooh, should I buy this or should I buy this? Be like, hey, get on the line. Hey, I'll call you on my rotary phone. Because that's the fun part is figuring out. Long. I know, yeah.
So Liquid Art earlier had a question pointing out, didn't Gordon have like an old frame per dollar chart? So what's the value in that?
Well, that was a bit.
The value is the entertainment value.
Yeah, tell me was a bit.
That's the value.
Yeah, that was entertainment value. Yeah, I also think that was for Threadripper, where he was just like, look how many cores you can get. So yeah, the amount per core was so cheap, even though it was like a $2,000 Threadripper or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But in some ways, it was, I mean, honestly, that joke of his was a little bit meta because he's also poking fun at the fact that it's a little arbitrary how you can determine value, how like people like to attach it to something so concrete that actually may not have any actual relevance to your situation or like it's not pertinent information, doesn't give you anything concrete to work with for figuring out if it's right for you, right? Where it's like you go into a store and like they're advertising like a Best Buy and they're advertising a laptop and they're like, it's 8 cores. You're like, great. What's the age of those cores? They're like, it's 8 cores.
Well,
and they're 8 E-cores.
Yeah, we had a question on the Tech Pod about this a few weeks ago that was really interesting. Somebody was like, hey, like I know that these two CPUs from 3 generations apart run at about the same clock speed. They're all like 4 gigahertz. Like, how much more work is this 9800 going to do than the 5800 or the 3600 or whatever? And it turns out the newer CPUs are doing a lot more work, and like but it's not transparent and it's not easy to understand, and it's why like on the 5 series video card reviews so far, Adam and I have sat down and we've talked about, these benchmarks test this type of performance, and this is the type of we saw a pretty consistent uplift in raster performance of this much from the 4090 to the 5090 or the 4080 to the 5080, and that's why we think these are like that will apply to games that use this type of rendering. This is what it does with ray tracing, and this is what it does when we turn on the AI crap, and like we're trying to give context so that you can make an informed decision as a person who's going to buy this, because we can't tell you what the right choice is for you, but we can tell you the information that you need to make a good choice.
Well, and that's like somebody made a good point that I think most people watching videos do want to just hear the conclusion. I mean, we've all seen the graphs, I'm sure, on videos where you just jump to conclusions.
Like most watched, and it's just like the beginning and the end.
Yeah. So yes, you're right. But that's not what I like.
Yeah.
That's like people shouldn't be doing that. You should be getting the information and making your own damn mind about whether you want to
we
get
can
it or
salt
not.
again.
Right, I know. I'm just
Should.
saying.
They
Yeah,
should
yeah.
do that, Adam.
They
You know
should.
better what they should do than
Should.
they
They
do.
should
Adam's
use
getting
their
angry.
damn
Should.
mind. Yeah. Anyway,
I
I mean, a conclusion, like a summary, is it different than, okay, hey, you know what? Overall, this is what we found. Different is, once again, different than the value. Like, okay, this is should you buy this or not?
Tech Potato, formerly of Anantech, says written reviews are almost always first page, last page, which I'm thrilled to hear because I always wondered that.
I'm sure.
You know, yeah.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
People like the TLDR.
Yeah.
Look-
Once again, and maybe I should have made this clear. A TLDR is different than making like a conclusion based off value judgment. What I'm talking
I
about.
mean, no,
yeah,
a lot of times the TLDR
Like a wrap
includes
up.
that, though.
I know,
Yeah.
but that's
a
the
lot
thing.
of times that includes that.
I'm okay with a wrap up. Like, hey, this is what we just saw, right? Like that's different than okay, here's what we just saw and why I think it's crappy. You know, like
No,
that.
but usually, I mean, I just
know,
think that
I
they're
know.
kind of the same thing. Like they
But
include
they
all
should
of
be
that.
different. I think they should.
Should.
I think they should.
Should.
be different. Yes.
Oh my.
Can someone please clip that moment for me? Like when they just put their heads together. That would be so great for another emoji
Yeah.
for the Discord server.
Oh, the good times. Good times. Also, we should probably wrap this up soon because we said we were only going to go.
We
an
have
hour.
so many more questions we should get to.
I know. I'm
Should.
sorry. Well,
We
real
should
quick,
do
real quick.
another
lightning
Q&A
round.
cast.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
lightning
but a lightning round. Here we go. Here's one that came in earlier from James Simpson. I currently have an MSI Trio 2080 Super, and I'm needing to upgrade that. With a current situation of graphics cards, I was looking at a 5070 Ti for the extra VRAM, or should I just settle for a 4080 Super? 5070
Should.
Ti, 5070 Ti. That's interesting. That is an interesting graphics card. What we know about that is only public knowledge, and I don't know.
What about like, is this a same time tomorrow situation? Perhaps.
I have no idea. So yeah.
I actually don't know when the embargo is, so I would know if there even is an embargo.
Good question. I will say a jump up from a 2080 Super. So 2080 Super was the refresh. What was the refresh of the 2080? I don't remember. It wasn't pricing, like it was actual hardware differences.
I think it was a process, wasn't it? No, I don't
No,
remember.
I don't think the Super was on the 20 series.
it was
Super
slower than the 2080 Ti, right? The Super was like hey, we made the 2080 better. It was so long ago. It was like 100 years ago, and you
I
couldn't buy
know.
those cards anyway because all the miners bought them all.
And that was back when I didn't know much, so I didn't retain that in my
Same
brain.
chip, just more cores. Agent
More
Burgess
cores.
says.
Okay, interesting. Sorry, I'm just trying to get a baseline because we know a 2080 was pretty much equivalent to a
Yeah, so
1080
the
Ti
20
in
the Super-
raster.
If I remember right, the Super Series for that generation was basically the one where, if I remember right, even Brad was like, okay, like this is more what we had kind of wanted to see as opposed to just like, here's the same card, but with ray tracing.
So this added more on the. Okay, so
It actually added a little bit more to the raster performance.
Yeah.
yeah. Either way, moving up to a 4080 Super. Once again, I guess it depends the price. If they're essentially saying that it's the same price, then I'm probably in Gordon's camp, and this is not saying anything about the 5070 Ti, but I usually like to get the newest thing.
What I can say,
But if it's the same price and that's the thing you're going for, you probably want to get the new one.
I having used the 5 series for a little bit, I haven't touched one of the cards in question here, but having used the other 5 series cards a fair amount, I am really, really enthusiastic about the prospect of multi-frame gen. I don't know how it's going to work on the lower end cards.
Yep.
That's kind of a big question right now. But in terms of using high refresh rate monitors and higher resolutions and stuff like that, it's cool tech that works much better than I expected it to.
Okay, I would say generally so far it feels like the 50 series is a refresh, something new in the market, slight bump over the old one. So if you're looking at it for the same price and being like, 4080 Super or 5070 Ti, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Who's to say?
I think if the 2080 follows the same path that the 1080 has in drivers, you're going to see weird driver stuff over the coming several years as NVIDIA maybe stops paying as much attention to those cards and pays more attention to the newer cards.
Yeah, well, 10 series is end of life. Yeah. All right. This lightning round is very long.
I also have a fun one we can end on. If
okay. No. Okay. I didn't know what this is referring to, but I'm going to ask it anyway. MS Sneaky RP, friend of the show, asks, even at raw, I think they mean raster, does AMD even look as good as NVIDIA on DX12? Does NVIDIA have an inherent advantage on DX12 that we don't know about?
I think they have a ray tracing advantage is probably what they're thinking about.
Okay.
We don't know. We like the way AMD is doing our architecture for AMD with these new cards. I haven't been briefed on this at all. I know nothing except for what they talked about at CES. Is that there's more dedicated neural tensor core equivalents so that they can do the ray tracing stuff faster, and it's not running on the same shader cores that it was on the old parts. So I don't know. Seems good, but we won't know until we see the hardware.
All right, get a couple more and then we'll get out of here. Oh, MS or M Sneaky RP asks also, are these back connector slots here to stay, or are they still experimental in terms of placement? They have an illustration, and I can't tell exactly which motherboard this looks like. Maybe that Gigabyte Stealth one, the original. But yeah, what we're seeing so far is that I feel like a lot of case manufacturers are now just cutting wider holes to accommodate for all of the different standards, which is not perfect.
I think that's fine by my standard.
I mean, it's fine, but it would be nice if everyone could congeal against one standard, because then you don't have to. Like, the idea of the back connector is that ease of use. That's one thing,
you're
which that doesn't matter.
We're putting the power and backside, everything on the backside of the motherboard.
So ease of use is one thing, one major thing, part of it. That changes whether your holes are larger or smaller, whatever. Really, I think for the other part of it is that it just pretties up a build. It's an easy way to make your build look pretty because all the cables are, connected in the back, right?
Yeah.
And so if the cutout is bigger to accommodate all the different standards, then you can start to see some of those connectors and stuff. So like when it is 1-to-1, it's a lot cleaner. So, but the way they're doing is they're cutting out wider to accommodate all the different variants, and so it's not as clean. So yeah, but yes, I do think it's here to stay. It seems like every case manufacturer has, a good amount of models that just accommodate for that. And if you're building in a normal with a standard motherboard, then it doesn't matter. You just have more holes. And
I mean, I'm not going to touch
Will's
that.
face.
Oh, guys, I looked at the sun for a second there. It's like
I was wondering why your brain stopped.
That's bad.
Yeah.
The problem. The problem with those back connectors right now is that they seem to be limited to relatively premium stuff. So it seems like it's like hey, you got to get the nice one to get that stuff, which is I guess to be expected because it's new and exciting and all that. But it's a little bit of a bummer to me because I would like to see that soup top to bottom across the whole product line.
Because the vendors have told me it is a price premium a little bit. It does add extra cost to.
I mean, they got to flip the board, right?
Yeah. Somebody's got to go over and just flip the board over. You can't. Machines can't do that.
There's no machine that could flip something.
No. Yeah,
it's impossible.
So because there's a conveyor belt and they're just sitting there punching, products onto it, and so somebody has to go and flip it.
What if they made a hole in the bottom of the conveyor belt and then had the machine underneath and would just jam it up?
Okay, see, manufacturing costs, that would
I'm just.
At least you didn't say. At least you didn't say should.
Yeah. I didn't say should. I said what if. It's totally legal.
All right. Last serious question here. Friend of the show, CosMC asks, is the average PC gamer really upgrading every cycle, or is this required outrage pony to justify their jobs? If the 3080, 3090, 4080, 4090 has gotten to the point where it is no longer viable to game on, please send them to the Full Nerd Crew, and I will work with them to properly rehome them.
God, this is
rehome them.
but this is it, right? Like, just because the 5090 came out doesn't mean that your 4090, your 4080, your 4070 Ti Super, your 4070 Ti, or your 4070 or your 4060 is suddenly a bad card.
Now we're just going back to the
I just
same
was
thing we
saying
were talking
numbers.
about. Yeah, but I mean, good point. And we were talking about this too. Like, hey, if generational uplift, is starting to slow, that also only really applies to the people who were trying to buy from the previous generation. Like, it's one thing. Like, I can't remember who it was, but it was like, hey, I've got a 2080 Super, and it's like, okay, well, you're moving a couple generations. You're not carrying that the 4080. Hey, I don't know if you know this, but the 4080 Super was panned. Or the 40, all the 4080s.
People
didn't
didn't like
matter.
those.
People didn't like the 4080s. Guess what? They still sold. And somebody still wants to buy it. So,
I play Fortnite almost every night with a couple of friends who are on 2080 Ti's, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? We still have fun.
No fun to be had.
What? No.
I know.
No
Not allowed.
fun.
Not
Yeah.
possible.
Look, it's shocking.
Especially if you're playing Fork Knife. Yeah.
Fork Knife is great.
Yeah.
I killed like 6 Mikus last night.
I have
Hatsune
no
Miku
idea
got
what
wrecked.
You're saying.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I
How
don't
could
know
you?
what you're saying. You said, Willis, you said you had a funny one.
Yeah, let's
Please.
do it. Let's just end with this one here. So we got Flying Shoe asking us if the podcast had an official beer, what style would it be?
Ooh.
Oh, it'd have to be a bitter. Like a real bitter. Maybe a sour?
No, I think it's going to be like a
No.
real smooth stout because it's smooth.
I was gonna say stout as well. I think that it's like full bodied and like there's a lot in there, but it's not necessarily bitter.
It can be maybe a little bitter on the edges.
Sometimes a little chocolatey. Yeah, on the edges
yeah.
I
perhaps.
like a porter.
A little
okay.
chocolatey.
But
Stout's
porter's
so
not
much for me.
as like
Back in the
thick
day,
and warm.
it was the ladies' beer.
Porter.
Porters were,
Really?
yeah.
Why?
I don't know, but that's what I was told.
That is weird.
When I went to Beer Academy.
And yes, Liquid R, I hate sours. So there's
Wait, you hate sours?
I hate sour stuff.
Well, you're
Like,
allergic, aren't
across
you?
the board. Well, yes, but the beer stuff I also just don't like the taste. I don't
Wow.
know if the beer stuff triggers my allergy or not. But no, anything sour, crap. So sour beer, no.
I'm-
no chance in hell this podcast is going to be a sour.
Ian loves sour. He's
Yeah.
all caps right now.
Sours are great.
Well, that's because he's from somewhere where they need to taste something,
Here
so
we
that
go.
they taste the worst stuff to just feel
Ooh,
something.
Wow, so much
All the
beef you're
beef.
starting.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So
Come
now
on,
let's see.
come on
Let's
in,
just be
Ian.
clear. We got Steve. We got everybody on YouTube that says should. We got the entire island of Great Britain, probably including Northern Ireland. I don't know.
That's okay.
Don't forget, Ian has a podcast as well, so
Yeah.
beefing with him.
Yeah, Ian's podcast.
Actually, you know what?
Oh.
How do you
I
feel
need-
about cheese?
I need to bring up some more beef.
Oh, no.
Somebody who has a podcast here talked about how Cadbury cream eggs are horrible.
They are horrible.
That is the worst take ever.
What?
The mini eggs, I like the mini eggs.
Mini eggs are great.
Yeah, but yeah, so I was listening to a podcast and they started to besmirch the Cadbury cream egg that they were sitting around for so long that nobody ate them, so they threw them away. And I was just like, I grabbed my radio and threw it across the room. I don't have a radio. That would be funny.
That would be pretty good.
But
Ham
no,
radio.
yeah, I don't. That's. Do you like Cadbury cream eggs, Elena?
No.
Yeah, they're gross, dude. They're super gross.
Do you like Cadbury cream eggs? Put this as a poll. Are
Okay.
Cadbury cream eggs good? Yes or no?
Well, I've never had it before.
You've
so
never had a Cadbury
I
cream
have
egg.
not.
See, he just looked at him and was like, "These suck so bad, I'm not going to try one."
I love
Oh, I got some goo in my chocolate. Just what I was hoping for. Something to ooze down and get all stuck in my beard.
Oh, I love Cadbury cream eggs. Okay,
I used to say as a
okay.
child.
We can at least all agree that Peeps suck.
They're just marshmallows with crap on the outside. Yeah, I'm with you.
I
on
like
Peeps
Peeps.
sucking.
Oh no.
You can't have too many of them because they get a little gross, but there's something like weirdly satisfying about like one or two of them.
I like that channel that they put them in the sulfuric acid and they just they scream dying.
Oh,
That's pretty good. It's a good channel.
No, that's pretty
I'll have
dark.
to watch that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well. Yeah. All right. We're gonna let this poll run till the end.
I don't know.
because I'm curious.
Like,
maybe I'm the weird one. Maybe I'm the only one who likes Cadbury cream eggs.
You should.
Then
be
guess
the weird
what?
one.
Send all your Cadbury cream
Wait,
eggs.
there's no poll yet.
Right, go,
Oh,
getting,
no,
getting,
he's
getting.
getting
Willis, he's just a man, Elena.
Sorry, Willis. I just wasn't
Get in there.
sure.
All right, pulls up.
Yeah. I love Cadbury cream eggs.
Throw it in fire.
No. Yes.
I love it,
Love
Willis.
them.
That was
Yes.
worth the wait.
Love them. I love Cadbury. And actually, I think I've said this before. Every holiday, I usually have like a holiday based treat that I
Yeah.
is like a staple. right?
Yeah. What's your
for
St. Patrick's Day?
beer.
Okay.
Is there
Can't argue.
Is there
Can't argue
candy
with that.
for St. Patrick's Day?
No.
No, it's just beer.
Gold coins, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Leprechauns.
Okay.
I mean, I would just rather have corned beef. I'm just saying.
Oh,
Yeah,
ooh.
I'm with you.
That's the only kind of
actually.
beef that I promote on this podcast.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I would like that. Yeah. So for Easter, I'm FYI, I'm not a religious guy. I don't, so Easter is just like, oh, it's the time that I get to go in the store and get a Cadbury cream egg, and I have to have one Cadbury cream egg at least every year.
Or peeps.
No, you can have. Oh, so here's the thing. Then we should offer an exchange program. If you ever see a Cadbury cream egg, you give it to me.
Yeah.
If I ever see a
Well,
peep, I'll give it to you.
Look,
and then we'll both be happy.
I have that with one of my kids' friends' dads. Loves Almond Joys. He's broken inside. So
No.
and he doesn't
That
like
man's
100 grands.
Great.
So
Doesn't like 100
I
grands.
and my daughter doesn't like either of them. So I take all of her Almond Joys and I trade them for all of his kids' 100 grands. And it's fantastic. It's like the best possible outcome because I give him garbage candy and I get a god tier back.
No.
100 grand is good.
100 grand's good.
No.
Almond Joy is for punishment
Have
candy.
you ever had a zero bar?
Yeah.
I like zero bars.
Yeah.
Well,
Hard to find.
Tim Lau says, well, what about if it's Cadbury cream peeps?
That sounds like ugh.
I'll try
I just
anything.
threw up a little in my mouth.
I'll try anything. I'm not
You know what?
against
I
trying
think I
it, but-
would try it.
Yeah.
I think it'd probably be kind of gross, but it's like I'm willing to give it a shot. I'm willing to hear it out.
Wait, is it Cadbury cream egg that's flavored like Peep, or is it a Peep that has?
No, I just
Goo
assumed
in
they
the
meant
middle?
like you have the egg, you have a peep, and there's still like the filling.
Oh yeah, no. Oh yeah. No, actually, here's the better thing. You get the outside, right? Because what if it's like a actual chicken egg where you've got the chocolate outside, and then it's a little creamy on the inside, but really it's just a Peep on the inside.
outside.
So
Oh,
No.
this is like 3
Even
levels
I-
of crime. You should not talk about this.
Don't
Should.
give ideas.
come on,
Should.
hey, what's
should.
what's that food that's like a partially made chicken? It's got the and then you eat it and the crunchy.
What are you talking? Oh, the fetal chicken
What?
eggs?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Oh, balut.
balut.
Yeah,
yeah,
see, that's the
yeah.
thing. This is the candy version of that. It's a Cadbury cream egg, and you open it up, and there's a peep inside because it's partially formed. Okay.
So
I think I like the candy version better.
yeah.
Check back next week for your fix of PC talk on the Full Nerd.
God.
To listen to us on the go, subscribe to us at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, Deezer, anywhere that you get your fine RSS feeds pointed to
Shout out to
in that
Deezer.
direction. Yeah, then we will be there. If you are on one of those services, please leave a review. Give us a star rating, thumbs up, whatever the place offers. We would really appreciate it. And every time you do, Elena gets a bag of Peeps, and I get Cadbury cream eggs.
You just suck the goo out of that egg.
Also, next week. Wait, when is Easter?
Like May. It's a long time from now.
Ah, dang it. Okay, well, for Easter, Willis,
April.
on the podcast, you gotta try Cadbury cream
Yes, I
egg. You
should.
down
When
for
is
that?
Easter?
Okay.
April.
April 20th.
Yeah. I've been your fill-in host, Adam Patrick Murray. The poll is at 52%. Yes, love them. So there we go. Thank you,
Divisive.
Elena, for joining me.
Throw him in fire.
The Peeps Ninja herself.
Mm.
Thank you.
Yes, now I'm thinking about candy.
Thank you.
Adam, I
Yes.
was at the grocery store yesterday.
Yes, Will Smith.
This is a segue.
Oh.
But they had breakfast flavored cup noodles there.
What?
Maple syrup, pancakes, sausage, and egg flavored ramen noodles and sauce.
Sure.
I should get some of those, right? And bring
Yes.
them in?
100%.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll try anything.
I'll add it on the,
Yeah.
I'll put it on the list.
Thank you, Will, for
Hey,
joining us.
This is what I bring to the table.
Yeah, is all the
Thank you too, Siri.
no problem. Anyway, thank you for Brad for not being here because
Hey, yeah,
he probably
he
would
would've
not
kept
have
us on the
he
rails.
would not wanted to be a part of this. And
Can I plug my new thing?
oh,
I have a new thing.
yes, I was going to bring that up in the
Yeah.
pre-show and I got distracted by these stupid glasses. Oh, do you like newsletters?
Do you think that computers could work better and work more for you and less for the man?
Do you wish computers would take less of your soul away from you?
Yeah.
and actually
Instead
give
of
back.
wasting your time, make your life better.
Yeah,
I have a
do.
newsletter for you.
Oh,
You can find it at next.content.town.
speaking of the camera when you
It's
say that,
next.content.town.
is that next.content.town?
Yeah, it's part of the content.town network of fine websites and podcasts.
The
And
stupid name.
look, come on down to Content Town. We got all the content you need.
Really? A content tab?
Yeah, at Content Town. But yeah, so it's for real though. I started this newsletter. I've written like five. There's one going up later this week. I've talked about everything from like uneffing up Windows. We talk about like why the Steam Deck is actually.
Is it a team?
It's just I'm royal weeing.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
publication. Talk about why the Steam Deck is a good example of the corporate goal of the capitalist company Valve Software and my goal of playing more video games. Their goal is to make video games easy to play, so I buy more, and my goal is to play more video games. Steam Deck's perfect as a result of that. Yeah,
I actually can
stuff
agree
like
with
that.
Yeah.
So if you like hearing about stuff like that, if you want to learn how to make your computing better, come on down to Content Town.
Can you
Content.town.
find this newsletter like on newsstands? Is there a printed
Look,
version anywhere?
At some point, I joked. Somebody was like, "Hey, can I pay you for this?" The other day, I was like, "I love money," and I was like, "What if I do a tier on the paying me thing for it, where I just mail them a zine every month?
Oh my
That's all the
God.
printed
Oh.
out."
I was literally
Dude,
going
that
to
would
make
be
that
so
reference.
good.
Yeah, because I never I was the wrong age to do zines when zines were cool. And I want to make a zine, and if I'm writing this stuff anyway, it would be easy to print it out and lay it out on a page and photocopy and put it in the mail.
You got to make it look like it could have been made by like a serial
I gotta
killer.
do some drawings. And stuff.
some drawings.
Well, you
you
just
cut
gotta-
out the individual letters.
Oh yeah.
No. You gotta boot up the old machine and just put PageMaker on it.
Oh, I was gonna say Quark, but PageMaker is even better.
All
Or I could do it the old way, like we did when I started doing the magazine, where we took stuff and taped it up onto a
Where
board
you like
and then shot it with
etched
a phone
it
with
onto
a camera.
the stone.
Oh
We-
my
we
gosh! You
still
actually did old school.
We still did
pasting.
film for like 2 issues of the magazine that I worked on. If I
Wait.
recall.
You printed it and then you took a photo of the print?
We printed the text and then they put the photos on the printed text page and then photographed that and sent the
Wow.
film to the printing press.
That's how magazines
The
used to
separation. That's how they used to
Yep.
do it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they called them blue lines for some reason. I don't know why that is.
Mm-hmm.
You could ask John Phillips. He could probably tell you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Will, don't forget to plug it in the chat and
Oh.
Discord.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next.content.town. I like it. Wherever you get your hot newsletters.
Come on down to Content Town. That's
Yeah.
what we always say at Content Town.
That's hilarious. All right. Anyway, thank you, Willis, for controlling verticals and horizontals. Take us out of here.
All right, will do. All right. Thank you, Adam. Man, with all this beef talk, I am just craving for a bowl of beef noodles. So that's the only beef I want, beef noodle. Okay? All right, thank you, everyone.
Who's got the beef?
Who's got the beef? All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Who's got the beef?
Beef. Beef. Where's the beef?